Hi darling, if you've ever been confused about what an interior designer does or the difference between an interior designer, an architect, or a decorator, then this video is for you. By the end of this video, you'll be able to know what each one of those three different services and professions provide, and therefore you'll get more clear in knowing what exactly it is that you need. So let's jump straight into it. Firstly, we have the interior designer, and I'm biased because I'm an interior designer, so I want to start with this one. So, what does an interior designer do? Well, in a nutshell, because this is a short overview, I'm not going in depth in this video. I want to give a short overview, and if you're interested in going deeper, then you can always comment below, or you could DM me and ask me on Instagram and follow, like, and subscribe to my channel. But of course, an interior designer. And interior designers really look at the whole internal environment. So we're looking at space planning, but beyond that, we're also looking at the freedom and the technicality and the ability to make plans that allow the breaking down of internal walls. So for example, if you wanted an open plan space but you have so many walls in your house, an interior designer could be able to help with that. In the same way, you could also be adding in walls. They also help with electrical plans, plumbing plans, lighting, which is so important in the interior design, right? And then on top of that, they also come into the other layer, which is the furnishings, the paint, the pillows, the cushions, and how the space looks and feels. But there is some level of technicality to the service. What about an architect? Well, architects are a little bit different. They're more intense on the technicalities, as we can all imagine, right? And I put this image up as inspiration for really looking at what architects really do. They are the structure. So if we're looking at the human body, an architect would be the skeleton, right? The bone structure, the ribs, the hands, and everything, not to get too much into detail. Right, and of course they also produce those plumbing plans and those electrical plans for ventilation and drainage and lighting and everything. But of course they do not go that extra layer to furnishings and thinking about how the space really flows in terms of touch, right, and fabrics that interior designers go to. So what you would have with an architect is, well, a room, a well-designed room, but you wouldn't have those other softer finishes. So for example, if you wanted an extension belt to your house, that would be a good place to hire an architect, right? Compared to if you wanted to change the layout of your internal house, just the rooms that you already have, just to lay it out differently, break down some walls here and put new walls in other areas so that the flow and the movement in that house matches your lifestyle, then that is something that an interior designer can provide. And then of course we have the third category, which is the interior decorator. Now I have this little picture here for inspiration, and again to show you that interior designers come from a plan, right? From a 2D sketch, from a 2D drawings and plannings, and then they go into the flesh of everything, which is the pillows and the furniture and the colors and the fabrics that you have in a space, while it's an interior, like a decorator, will just start at that visual layer. So a decorator will just be working on furnishings and moving things around in your house, and as well as colors and pillows and lamps and those lighter layers, those kind of the kind of layers that we as people would do for ourselves quite easily if we have taste and an eye for design. But of course interior decorators do take that up another level for the regular individual, right? and making sure everything matches correctly. But if you wanted to go that extra layer of being like, okay, I don't just want a new sofa and new pillows and a new rug, I would actually want the whole space to be reassessed in terms of like how it actually works, like the rooms and the whole internal structure and where the light sockets are going to go, where if you're moving around your kitchen, so trying to figure out where your sink is going to go, so how the plumbing should work, and or changing up your bathroom and figuring out that whole drainage system and the whole lighting system, then that's another level of technicality, and that's where an interior designer would be quite useful. So just to break down that a little bit, an architect is a skeleton, so it's pretty much just the structure, not just the structure, I shouldn't say just the structure, it's the most important bit, right? You need your structure before you can even get to interior designing and decorating. That's a foundational layer, which is of course the architect. But then with just architecture, things can come off a little bit cold. That's where you can have like some really nice, beautifully designed buildings, but at the same time, you know, they feel a little bit cold. That's where you come in with an interior designer. And an interior designer does cross over a little bit with the architect in terms of the technical drawings that they can also provide. There's just electrical and plumbing drawings and layouts that they can provide, but it is all internal, and any walls that an interior designer is working on or adjusting, they're all internal, right? Not so much external or structurally important. And then the decorator will be, for example, if you're moving houses and you just wanted to sell your house really quickly, and you just wanted to make sure you just have the new furniture or furniture staging, then this you can get with an interior decorator. Of course, it's again a crossover area where the interior designer also does provide that, but interior decorators, that's pretty much most of their work and area of expertise. So the interior designer is kind of like the bridge between those two. So if you can have an architect here, and then you can have a decorator here. An interior designer is like the bridge between those two, so they do a little bit of in both worlds, kind of. So for me, that's like the sweet spot. So yeah. I hope that has given you some information and some clarity about what each one of those professions do provide, because sometimes when I speak to people, I feel a little bit confused sometimes between an interior designer and an interior decorator. So I just wanted to give a little information and a little clarity. With that, I shall let you go, and I'll see you in my next video. I'm so excited. Bye for now.